Hello New Zealand, thanks very much for joining us. I'm Philip Duncan. Well, we're tracking the weather for the rest of this week and of course the long weekend, which is Easter. So let's kick off with the Tuesday animated wind map, and you can see this big northeasterly airflow coming in across the country. It sort of moves to the north of New Zealand, south of Fiji, south of New Caledonia, curves around and then comes down. That's where that cold front is currently lying, with some heavy rain moving up the west coast. Strong winds as well associated with this low in the Southern Ocean. That brought gale force winds to parts of Otago, and up here to the northwest, the remnants of what was cyclone Nora in the northern part of Australia, and the remnants of what was cyclone Iris, which is now sitting in the Coral Sea. And this one actually still might flare back up again. So some of the international forecasters are still tracking this one and calling it a cyclone, but it's really stuck out at sea for the next week. So let's get into it a bit more closer to home. This is how we look as we go through Wednesday. That cold front we just talked about moves slowly into the North Island, pushing into its own airflow, and also because of the high that's out to the east here, this is a very slow moving system. So there'll be some showers, a few heavier downpours, but it's a fairly narrow area of moisture coming in around Taranaki and the lower southwestern corner of the North Island, while the South Island, well, you start to dry back out again after what was a windy, wet couple of days. It's now a lot calmer for you. Then we get to Thursday, and that area of rain really hasn't moved much. It's moved a little bit further north, around about Taranaki up towards Waikato, Waitomo, those areas. So a little bit of showers and maybe a bit of patchy rain coming in for Thursday on that North Island's western side. Otherwise, high pressure dominates across many areas. It's dry in most, but there's a little bit of rain coming in for Fiordland. Okay, the long weekend, let's get into it. This is Good Friday. You can see that front moving away very slowly. There could be a couple of early showers around Northland and Auckland, maybe even before dawn. Otherwise, it clears away, high pressure dominates, and most places on Friday are dry with light winds, but there'll be just a little bit of a westerly breeze down around Southland and some parts of inland Otago, and a little bit of rain also around Fiordland. Then we get to Saturday. It's a little more unsettled on Saturday, especially around the South Island. You've got strong, gusty westerlies. They might even reach gale force up in the mountains. Fairly brisk through Cook Strait. Bit of rain in Fiordland spreads up the west coast across the day. May just be a few showers, but that's really what moves up. A couple of showers or spits into Southland, and maybe one or two showers coming up into the southwestern corner of the North Island. And we can't even rule out an isolated shower somewhere around Auckland and Northland, but that's under high pressure, sort of a different setup. That's Saturday. Then Easter Sunday, a couple of showers maybe lingering around the western side. It's still a mostly dry day though, and for most of the North Island it is dry. In the South Island, a couple of showers linger along the west coast. Cloud hovers around Southland, but it should stay mainly dry there, and dry also up along the east coast, fairly sunny. And then Easter Monday, well, this is us down here. High pressure belt covers much of New Zealand, but especially the North Island. We've got the northwest flow coming back to the South Island, so it's fairly mild, and those rain clouds hover around Fiordland. Fiordland's definitely the wettest place over the long weekend. And up here, this could be our next tropical cyclone. If it does form, it'll be likely called Cyclone Joe. That's going to form, we think, somewhere around Vanuatu, Fiji, Tonga area. It's up in this zone. We're not 100% locking that in, but next week there's a chance of a cyclone forming up there. That is all from me. We'll update you again tomorrow with the latest outlook as we head in towards Easter.